You can go.
I'm Cambia Davis. I'm a watercolor artist, and I also did fabric applique back when I lived in New York a few years ago. And I was inspired by a poem called "Cockroaches Are Precocious, Especially Those from Nacogdoches."
Hi, and my name is Christopher Hickey. I'm a local poet here in Malden, and I was given the opportunity to contribute to Lines Connecting Lines, Cambia. I created the poem called "Cockroaches Are Precocious."
My name is Jana Lepay. I'm a Malden resident, but I'm originally from Germany.
My name is Carl Wood, also a Malden resident, originally from Malden, and I'm a poet for Glory of War.
And I try to visualize the glory of war.
I love that he had chosen a subject that's a little bit controversial, or at least hard to like. I mean, cockroaches are considered pretty awful, but he found humor and good qualities of cockroaches because they are precocious. They do a lot of things, and they've lasted for many years, and they'll probably outlast us. So, and I had similar feelings about cockroaches back in the 80s, 70s and 80s when I made this piece, because I actually made it in 1981, but it was relevant to his poem because it shows cockroaches under the sink taking part in human activities like eating paella and drinking wine and doing the dishes and living a pretty good life.
It was a very interesting process. I also met with Lisa Sayers and a couple of other artists, and we were given a little booklet with all poems in there. And I just remember coming on that page and reading it and thinking like, wow, this is so powerful. And then also, on second thought, I was like, probably not a lot of people would say, I want to do this.
Well, similarly, for me, it's an honor to be able to work with local community artists, and it's the first time that I've met Cambia tonight, and it's an honor for me in that regard. And just to be able to see something that you take from your mind and put onto a piece of paper, and then see how that associates with what someone else, how they interpret that.
Was to try to figure out what the poet would have envisioned. And so, like I said, I read it, and immediately my own vision came in, and then I thought, let me read it again, and I read it again, and I thought, well, definitely war is unfortunately something that's omnipresent. I mean, everybody knows about it. There's been enough wars going on in this world to even see how many parallels we have in there, and I think that's what makes this poem so strong, is that you talk about how...
I also locally in a group called the Malden Writers Collaborative, which is a fiction workshop, and I learned of it through there. And also an associate that works here at Malden Television. They talked about there was like a sort of a contest for the poets to sort of submit their work, and then the works were selected on the basis of whether the artists were able to connect to those poems, and then just elaborate on those and give them visual media as opposed to the written lines of the poems themselves.
One of my customers, I work at the comic shop, New England Comics, down the street from here, MATV, and they were handing out flyers, and I remembered that I like to write in my spare time. I remembered I had a few spare poems lying around my computer, and I was just like, give it a shot. So I copy and pasted them into an email, sent them off to Lisa Sears, the very nice woman who was kind enough to put this event together, and one of them got picked. And
you know, your intuition, kind of like when I read the poem, and immediately I was like, okay, I need to start sketching. I need to, get this vision going. I think most of the times when we you know, going through high school, whatever, we told like this is great for economy, this might be a safe job. And you know, so we go through different areas. And for me, for instance, even though art always spoke to me, I always thought like I have to find something that's more stable, you know, than that. And for some reason, and this is maybe the most encouraging thing I can say, art always came back to me. It always followed me. And from what I've heard, I think it's a similar thing for you. So I'd say, you know, the earlier somebody can find their passion, the better. I don't know if that.
For me, it's always been something that gnawed at me since I was a child, and in throughout school, I've always had a creative knack to with words and writing, and it's a vocation and something you constantly have to improve upon as you go, and it's just something I love to do. So it's easy
because I like it. I like it. I'm good at it. I like being able to talk with people about something that I love, and I like recommending things to people. I'm like being in a place where my opinion is valued. That's, you know, that's important to me. I've worked jobs before where like, well, really just one job. My first job out of high school, I worked in an office, and it's just like, it was grinding. Like, it didn't feel like, you know, my opinion really mattered, and I hated it, even though that was a job I made the most money in. And now I'm at a place, even though I don't make a lot of money, but I do like it. And like Yana said, if I could give you guys any advice, it'd be like, you know, doesn't matter, like, you know, money matters. Like, I'm not gonna tell you like, yeah, money doesn't matter. It does matter, but you know, you should, if you do something, you should be happy doing it. If you're gonna be there every day.
I was about 3 or 4, maybe 5, something like that, 4 maybe. My grandmother, who had been a painter also, gave me a desk and a set of watercolors and paper, and we had a studio up in her attic, and she would go up there and paint, and I would go with her and paint. But